What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Positively Raw podcast. First episode. Pretty amazing. We just set this up in like 2 hours, and here we are for the first podcast. And doing our first podcast today, we'll be doing Dokkan Battle, which I'm sure y'all are gonna be very excited for. So I am your host, Kole, and I am joined here today with Jacob
What's going on? How are you?
and Cross.
Hello.
So Dokkan Battle, very fun and exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going on now. I'm really hyped.
Exactly right. So I think we're gonna start off. How did y'all think the Dokkan Battle year went this year?
I'm gonna let Jacob start on that one.
See, for me, this is kind of a weird year because I find it like really difficult to remember what those first few initial banners were like for me because I don't usually end up like saving and going big heavy into banners. Normally, I just kind of like go sparingly, right? And then there'll be like a couple banners and then big celebrations that I, stock up stones for and then summon. So overall, I can tell you that I did do very well in the download celebration. I did very well the anniversary. And, then we kind of move into Halloween and whatnot. And I did pretty well there. And then Heroes I did decently on. And then now I did pretty well in these couple banners. So
What about you?
overall, pretty good for myself.
I would be the complete opposite. I completely remember the first banners or every banner this year because it was just a constant shaft fest until this Christmas banner, which did treat me pretty well, and I'm pretty happy. But there's obviously some units that I missed out on, which I would have liked to have gotten.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think the year, would I say this year was better than other years? Maybe we can talk about this in a little bit. I think we'll say this for a little bit later, but I think the year was okay. I think
I think it was kind of a mix of both. I think there were definitely low points and definitely high points, and
sure. I would
definitely
that.
definitely somewhere in the middle. Sometimes, sometimes it would go up and you would hit this really good point, but then you'd hit these really low lows. As Global does usually see these points, especially after or sometimes even before big celebrations.
Yeah.
As we kind of saw, there was like no Easy A for months, right? And it was just content was so dry. Even though you had some banners releasing, no one was really summoning because no one really had stones. So I think that's kind of a big thing.
Here is putting personal experiences aside.
I was just about to say. I was just about to say that. Actually, I wanted to lead into that.
Yeah, putting our personal experiences aside because we all have different experiences, obviously. How do we feel about the flow of content? And I think we're gonna go both global and JP for this.
Okay.
One. Well, actually, let's stick to JP for the time being to make it a little bit more simpler. How do we feel the flow of content was this year? Maybe compared to, let's say, the fourth year anniversary, the year before.
I guess I'll start off on this one since Cole, me and you play JP more than Jacob does, obviously.
Yeah. I don't even have a JP account.
Yeah, case in point.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think the content this year, for JP at least, was there was a ton. There was just, and every different, every time they would release new content, it just got better. There were some lows, obviously, but mostly everything that was released, just one after another, was a banger.
I feel like the flow of content made sense, though, because, you had, Golden Frieza, and then, you had, Jiren as well, were in pretty close proximity of each other.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good overall. I think it was, fine. And then, there's also, for example, like the download celebration, even though that was on global as well. I definitely think there was a lot of good closure there for certain, arcs and, like Majin Buu Saga and whatnot. But I definitely think that some of the celebrations, while there was, some good parts to them, there was also some bits that were definitely lacking in some
sure,
areas. I think, because you can get to like a certain point and you can have the stuff they present to you, but then all of a sudden it'll be like, well, what now? There's still a few days left in the celebration and nothing else to do. Because when you can sit down and, do all of the content in like a day or two, it's not always a good sign. Because it's like, well, was there enough in a celebration that's supposed to be as big as, like millions of people downloading the game and doing a download celebration or an anniversary, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and especially when you compare, 5th anniversary to, 4th, where 4th you had like all this, stuff to do. There was always stuff being released. There were the banners. There were like more units, both, free to play, easy A, and, just summoning in general. And then another thing is, that huge list of just top grossing like countries.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a question. What do you think, honestly, this year worst celebration? Not for polling, personal issue or personal matters aside, but just for the community in general. What do you think the worst event was?
For me, that's kind of tough. Are you talking about like version specific celebration?
Well, what do you mean by that? Like,
so like for example, I would say Halloween for global was kind of bad because even though we got that unit, the banner with the couple good units, like there was no new like global first.
Yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of like download celebration, anniversary, even LR banners, because that technically is along the lines of what I was.
I'm gonna kick it off with
go ahead.
Saiyan Day. So Saiyan Day celebration wasn't but some more global shenanigans. I guess we'll bust into that a little bit here. Global was supposed to get, JP. Let's start with that. JP got, I think it was. I don't know if they got the category Super Battle Road or they got category Extreme Super Battle Road.
They've gotten several updates to just like regular Super Battle Road and just category.
That celebration, I know JP got some kind of Super Battle Road content, and Global, which Global did.
Well, I remember
Super Battle Road content at the same time, which I think
Global had that kind of Super Battle Road drought. I guess you could say it was just kind of those same few stages until they just recently added them. But like JP had gotten, I think it was like, I don't remember if this is the exact number. Don't like quote me on this or hold me to it or anything. But it might have been like 3 like updates to how many stages they had when Global was just still on the same like 20.
Possibly. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not.
I think it was something like that. Yeah. I don't. I just know that like there were more updates than Global had gotten. Like,
for months. I mean, aside from the Super Battle Road stages missing on Global, I don't think the celebration was too bad. Maybe because I'm not the hugest Bardock fan, wasn't my thing. I don't remember 100% all the content during that celebration 100%,
right?
So I don't want to put random things out there,
right?
But I don't think, I honestly, going back to the original question, I don't think any of the celebrations this year were terrible. I just think some things were a little.
I think they were lacking.
They were very lacking. In my opinion, they were very lacking.
I think what could be said about them is, I think it's fair to say they did very well with the units themselves. I think that's totally
no, hands down. The units this year were absolutely
amazing. Topped whatever units previously by like a large margin.
Oh yeah,
right.
Sure.
But if you look at whatever else was released, right, is Global went forever without EZAs throughout all the celebrations, right? Yeah. And a lot of the other content in that celebration was just like, that's it. Right, because you sit down and you get like a story event. You get the stages to awaken the units. You get the banners and like a few other miscellaneous things. But there's nothing that really stands out. There's nothing that sits there and says like, "Oh, this is like insanely good. This is huge."
Something I find ironic, or at least maybe in my case, I ask for more content, and of course that includes SBRs, extreme SBRs, but the reality is I can't really do them because I feel like it'd be wrong to say whale, but at the same time, it's right, and I think a lot of people would agree with. A lot of people would agree with me on that.
Yeah.
That if you're not whaling and you're not that lucky, that you're not really going to get SBR done.
Well, I think it just goes to show that, when you have certain like whales and like content creators, for example, that will struggle with this event just because they're unlucky, or because even though they have these crazy units and every new unit, they still won't be able to do it like 100% of the time. And while you can't always do every event like as reliable as some might think, it comes to a point where it's like you have like the top players of this game, the people that spend like insane amounts of money to get these units. They still end up struggling, right? So how is someone who doesn't like just like throw money at the company, how do you expect that person to be able to clear these stages? It's just kind of stupid, I think. I really don't like Super Battle Road.
Yeah, I still stand by what I said earlier, that I think Infinite History was probably one of the best things for Dokkan.
I love Infinite
History. When I'm just
really
chilling, like, let's say I'm on the bus or just in a car and I don't feel like playing any of my other gacha games, I'm just, just a little bit looking for a little bit of Dokkan.
Yeah.
I'll hop into Infinite History with different teams, or I'll just obviously go in with Kamehameha and look at the beautiful 5th Annie super attacks.
Well, yeah, sometimes like all you want to do is just kind of go in and, mess around, play the game, and like I think Infinite History is perfect for that. You get a bunch of different typings, they have a lot of health, and it's challenging, but it's not absurd.
It's not boss rush, because I used to, do the exact same thing I just talked about, but in boss rush stage 2 and the second part of stage 2, because it was the longest, but the problem was that you could never get your units to transform because you'd be one hit,
it would break everything up. Yeah, but like
break up and one hit.
I think that's also huge when it comes to Infinite History, is because it's just one continuous fight. You're not moving from enemy to enemy, and it's not resetting your transformations, you're stacking. So if you bring a unit that stacks or transforms and builds, you can, get them to their max potential and really see what your team can do, and without having to, wait a couple turns and have the enemy just die.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say that also, even though I don't do it a lot, but Fighting Legend Goku,
I love that event.
I do love the event.
If you think about how old it is too, though, it's so old.
It's pretty old. I wouldn't say it's terribly old.
It's not terribly old, but it's
still
old. It's pretty old.
It came out just around the time that Go Frieza was released.
All right, so hold on, wait. So we're derailing a little bit. So let me just stop here real quick, because that is
sure.
We'll talk about in a little bit. But
yeah.
So yeah, I do think Super Battle Road is it's one of those I like it or I don't like it. I think it's good for the game, like, because it's the kind of thing that you're.
I think more content is more content.
You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about content before for a sec, and I think you mentioned, completing the story missions during a celebration or something, like at the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Like a reset.
Road, you're gonna be. You could be stuck on an SBR stage for, I don't know, a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that content that's going to kind of push a little further into the year after it releases, opposed to like a story mission that you can complete instantly. But so going back to the celebrations this year, because we might as well finish that off.
Sure.
5th year was good. I like 5th year a lot.
I liked 5th year. I think it was
pretty good. I think it did a great job with the units and all that. The only issue I think I have, and probably a lot of other people have as well, is that there was no traditional EZA during the
I agree.
A whole nother topic we'll get into now, which is EZAs. So this year, I mean, we had some good EZAs, like the Kale and Khalifa EZA. JP got the Topo and Dispo EZAs, which were fantastic.
Yeah,
and
they're really good.
Other EZAs, obviously scattered here and there as well.
Masked
I don't
Saiyan.
know. Masked Saiyan.
Massing. Can't forget the Janembas, who's getting
Janemba's going to be
soon.
getting his soon, yeah.
Granted, that's technically next year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it is kind of before, like, 6th, though, so you could call it
It still
this year.
falls in the 5th year of Dokkan. So
I think it's 5th year, yeah.
We can kind of
Yeah.
throw it in there.
Yeah.
So, Easy Area has kind of taken over Easy A's spot in the norm.
I really
Easy
don't like
area
Easy A
every
areas.
left and right. And while I don't dislike Easy A Area because it's kind of a little different spin on Easy A, I do think we need more traditional Easy A's because not only does it give the player base, rewards, which is at the end of the day, we all have on our minds. But I just think, standardized Easy A's are just better off. You know what I mean? And it's not like you can't do an Easy A area for normal units. Like most of the Easy A areas are for like free to play stuff.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like that. So
Units you can just kind of like you can just go into like a story event or maybe even like the Baba shop or something like that, and you can just kind of pick them up for these resources you gather. But and while it's good, I personally am not a fan of EZA areas.
I think EZA areas was their try at making. Or they were like, okay, how can we make EZAs harder? Okay, let's make EZA areas
right
with slightly less difficulty, but the fact that you need to have the specific characters, which I think is my least favorite part.
That's what EZAs. I don't like about it. I don't care if they would just make it harder. That is of no concern to me, right? It's like, because it gets to a certain point when you play the game for so many years that you just get good, you have these units, and there's like a lot of content isn't necessarily challenging, right? So challenging content is not bad. It's just when it gets to a point where, I don't like being locked into those certain units. I feel like it's kind of annoying because if I didn't bother to, grind a free-to-play unit out, if I then want to do another grind to even initiate that, I need to have a specific set of units
and that
I would have needed to do it
that
for.
Point right there is honestly probably why Easy Area is a thing, because then it's that incentive to be like, new free to play unit comes out.
Right.
I'm sure most people otherwise would be like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But now, you have Easy areas in the future and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, I should grind up this free to play unit now because I'm going to need it or I could need it for a future Easy area. So that's probably why Dokkan started doing the Easy areas. I mean, obviously,
right.
If you look at, Easy Goku, for example, like, to get Easy Goku or LR, my bad, Prime Battle Goku, Easy A.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to go through the Easy area, which I honestly, actually, even though it's a big grind, I actually like that system better because it's just more grinding to put in. I mean, I know some people may be a little iffy with the grinding, but I just feel like it kind of gives you more to do over the course of a year. Granted, it might not take a year, but to grind up all the other units that have each their own Easy areas, and then you pull them together to go to this Easy area, and then even further than that, you have to use, the Prime Battle Goku when he's Easy A'd for the Frieza.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of,
it's the kind of bridge into the next unit.
I can understand EZA areas for maybe the LRs, like the Prime Battle ones, but if it's a TUR, just give it an EZA. And it also gives us stones, which I'd say we kind of have well deserved over 5 years.
I think the whole thing is EZA areas are fine as long as they don't outnumber regular standard EZAs.
And it's getting close to that.
It's because they pump them out so often, and it's not bad that they're putting them out often. It's just a problem that, you're not getting as many standard EZAs. And what reason, right, to not EZA a unit, right? Should there be more EZAs overall? Absolutely. I don't think there's any reason to not EZA a large sum of the units in the game that need it. But when it comes to regular EZAs versus EZA areas, I just think it should be opposite of how it is now. We should be getting a lot of regular EZAs just because, I mean, I think I think people wouldn't complain as much, to be honest. If
I
that's the
certainly
whole,
wouldn't.
You know,
I
shout out
definitely
to
wouldn't.
Truth, but you know, he said EZA area is the EZA, traditional EZA is the best thing that Dokkan has ever done, and I do have to
Completely agree.
with him. That
I agree.
It's amazing, and
I
honestly,
definitely agree.
they could, you know, I don't know how much work it puts on them. I can't imagine it's too much, but I'm not.
It's
a game
not.
developer, so
I
I don't
don't
know.
think it's too much in
But-
comparison to even putting in a new unit.
Yeah, they could throw like an EZA every. Who knows? They could throw an EZA every month. There's so many units.
I think
in Dokkan.
I think one
they
or
could do.
two per month would be fine.
Yeah.
And there is enough units
to do that.
plus, you know, banners or whatever to do that. Right?
Exactly.
You could go down an entire list of units that are old or just kind of aging, not so like, you know, because I think there's definitely a group of units that's old, there's kind of in the middle, and then you have new and like relevant, right?
Mm.
So when it comes to this like middle and, you know, back end of units, there's plenty to EZA, and no one would complain if these units got EZAs because it's healthy, it's good for the game, it's good for the player base, and it's good for future content. So there's no reason to not give these units more EZAs.
I think it's just not a matter of like them not wanting to give the EZAs out, but I kind of, you know, I'm thinking about, you kind of have to remember they are a business and they kind of do still need to make money, and if they keep pushing EZAs out, it's like, oh, I can just wait for this EZA to get a multi instead of paying. So I feel like that's part of their.
True. It does make sense, but it only stands true for like, you know, the people that want to spend money on Dokkan are still going to spend money on Dokkan.
Yeah, sad. Like Truth's never gonna stop.
And,
I think on paper,
so much money that to the point where it's like, I don't expect Dokkan to ever lose out on money. At the end of the day,
true.
I don't think they're ever gonna take a hit money-wise, unless they just start not releasing very good content. But even then, I'm sure they'll still pump it in.
And think about it this way, right? Let's say they were to release just more EZAs, right? And if we kind of follow that sort of line of logic, where, you know, they might be losing money because people are, you know, just getting more summons in without having to pay for them. I think that theory takes a little bit of, you know, a fall almost when you think about that. Would only be for a lot of the major celebrations, I think, assuming people were actually like pulling these units a lot. Because if you think about these other months, right, not every month has banners people would want to be summoning on. So if you look at, you know, for example, like let's just take like a random month and say, okay, the banner for like whatever month is like, I don't know, some random unit. We'll say like a new Kid Goku, right? And we'll just say this is just like a new banner, just a new banner, right? And, you know, sure, you would have a lot of people that like Kid Goku and want to summon for Kid Goku. However, you know, maybe not so much on another version or something like that, right? So if you have like an EZA, someone that would not have summoned might summon because they have stones.
Yeah.
So
I know that's kind of like a weird analogy, and it's not necessarily
I understand you,
but
I got you.
It's like you might have these banners that people would either like, you know, maybe skip or not summon on or just kind of ignore or whatever, right? And it's like you would just be getting more exposure with EZAs is what I'm trying to say, and the rewards from them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're right for sure. A little bit of an off topic. This is going back to the flow of content that we were talking about before.
Sure.
But what do you guys think of? And I mean, this isn't really that too big of a deal, but it just kind of fits in with the flow of content and how that kind of went.
Sure.
So part 2, LR banner LR for Golden Frieza was Turles, which I don't think anybody was seeing. And I think everyone was
no.
equally as shocked when they saw
I was pretty surprised
a
to see Turles.
And usually
I was definitely
the Part 2
surprised.
banner LR has some kind of correlation.
Yeah, it relates, yeah.
Which I do think, isn't Turles is on Resurrected Warriors, I believe. So that's...
I don't think he's technically isn't resurrected, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't
know.
think
Hold on.
Warriors, I think.
Let me check on that. I have a few Turles units, but obviously not the LR in specific.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I think it was kind of surprising. And to be honest, I know there's already, the Dokkan Fest AGL support Turles, but I would have expected like a Dokkan Fest Turles. I definitely wasn't expecting the the Part 2, summonable LR, because I feel like what they end up doing is taking the units. I mean, this is pretty much what they do: is they take the units that wouldn't necessarily be good Dokkan Fest units or wouldn't sell as well, and make them those legendary summon units. So for example, I was totally expecting a God Topo, summonable LR. Because, I mean, it would relate to Golden Frieza. I mean, Topo fought Frieza, right? God of Destruction Topo fought Frieza. And I feel like that would have been the perfect time to implement it because, it was Tournament of Power. So if there is going to be, let's say, God of Destruction LR Topo, right? I mean, that would pretty much have to be, 6th anniversary, right? I mean...
Just to cut in real quick.
Yeah, sure.
LR Turles is category-wise, movie bosses, joined forces, terrifying conquerors, final trump card, which I didn't even know, to be honest.
He's on a lot more categories than I was expecting.
And space traveling warriors. The only one I don't understand would be final trump card. I guess
the fruit.
The fruit. That's completely true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that relates to Frieza directly, unless they're going by the terrifying conquerors. It
might be terrifying conquerors. It might be.
I think it was just.
It
was either, like you said, Jacob, just another terrifying conquerors unit, or because this is the same thing that Truth thought about, or even Nano said the other day, but a Garlic Junior unit, because there just either isn't that many of that unit specific, or a first for that unit, and this is the only LR Turtle, or the first LR Turtles in the game, and the newest one. Right. So that's more revamped for the events.
That's the first Turles in a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's not many Turles in the game. There's the AGL, support one, the Dokkan Fest, and then there's the AGL Great Ape one, who I actually have.
Yeah.
There's him, and then I don't know if there's any other Turtles besides the new LR.
There's a few old ones that I have.
There's the in one. Yeah, the
in one is the class. The only reason I remember that one specifically is because I always used to run them because I had nothing else.
Right. I think it's good that these kind of units are getting representation. I think it's really good.
Here. So, now, when you look at going forward with Dokkan, or even going backwards with Dokkan to a degree,
sure.
Dokkan, I mean, this year in specific, they did do, Super Android 13 or whatever, Android 13.
Right,
which was nice to see. Even if people don't like it, it's still good to get that kind of unit in the game that we don't.
I mean, I remember I watched the movie a long time ago, and I never really thought about having that character in Dokkan, but I feel like it's good to see these units from old movies kind of get attention, and I think it's also really interesting because you have some of these old movies and you see these super attacks in Dokkan, and it looks so much better than the movie itself, right?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, I didn't enjoy the Super 13 movie too much compared to the other ones, but
I watched it a long time ago.
So in terms of Super 13 as a character, I really like him as a character. I like his design, and his super attacks in game look very clean. I
think Androids kind of needs it too.
Androids really need. I think
Androids just needs
some
help.
New units.
I think Androids needs help because, the best units on there are just kind of the cells, right? And
the
you know, if you
cells
think
and
about it,
then
right,
the trio.
Cell is a main serious villain, right? The androids, like 17, 18, 16, they are like main series characters. But when you see these other characters, like Android 13 or whatever, they kind of get added into the game. It's just really good to see because it's stuff you might not see in many other places.
Exactly.
Going on representation, I know I also spoke about it before, but how would you guys feel about a new Universal Survival Saga 17?
That would
I
be
think it'd be cool.
pretty nice, but
I think it'd
going
be
back
cool.
to what we were just talking about, I do think some other things need to get represented before.
Oh yeah, no.
I agree. To be honest,
agree, but
I
maybe
agree.
it's like just a small Dokkan Fest,
That
like
would
because
be cool.
they've done
maybe
that.
maybe
Super
think about it like
13.
this, right? Maybe like a banner unit.
Yes, because
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is like because Super 13 was really kind of one of those Dokkan Fests where like the highlight was the LR AGL Goku. I feel like that from the Super 13 movie instead of the actual
the big like spirit bomb absorption.
Yes, the Spirit Bomb
Yeah,
Absorb Goku was the highlight of that event.
I
And
definitely think so.
Super
too.
13 was kind of just a Dokkan Fest that was after, cool unit, in case you wanted him, summon for him. I feel like they could do the same thing for 17, where could be like a second part of an event. Like, obviously not the most anticipated, but like just a second part maybe.
I think the villains really get the short end of the stick.
Oh, no, I completely agree. Comparing
recently
villains,
they've been doing pretty well. You get like STR Cooler, who's getting like a little older. He's not old, but he's not the best anymore, right? Because he was kind of going on like this huge he was just absolutely the best, right? We also have Frieza now, and then there's Android 13, like we're saying before, and then Turles, of course, right? But a lot of these villain characters don't really get, I guess, shown a lot. Yeah. And whether that's like a money thing, like a monetary selling thing, or just a popularity thing. Because personally, I would love to see more villains.
Yeah, villain representation's low, and I think another part of the villain category. I'm just gonna call it villain category in general.
Sure,
but their like you compare all the super units to the extreme units and their defense, like. There are a ton of extreme tank units, but the really tanky extreme units are EZA units, not just base, TURs and their passives.
That is true.
The super category has 1,000 times more of an edge when it comes to defense.
Well, because they have all of the guarding units and stuff like Gohan, and they have a lot of the Gohans and stuff like that, and even like AGL Gohan doesn't necessarily guard. But his defense is so high, and he just stacks defense
that's just straight passive.
It's just passive.
That's not like oh, here's my EZA. This is where I got my defense from.
Right. So I mean, I think you have like the Janembas and stuff that get the guard and whatnot.
That too, but the guard has always been good on the Janemba units. But again, it's another one of those. The EZA version of them is just 1,000 times better for tanking because they get defense.
Yeah.
So. Super 13, like we were talking about originally.
Yeah.
We got him, obviously. We got Turles, which was very good as well. Two characters. I mean, Super 13 had it a lot worse off than Turles, but
I agree with that.
Super great either.
Yeah.
So if we look back, I mean, we did get. I don't know if it was this year. I think it was this year. We got the Demon King Piccolo World Tournament LR, which was pretty cool, obviously, to see.
It's good to see because there's not many, like, if you think, like, let's just say, like, King Piccolo, Demon King Piccolo, right? It's like, what units can you name, right? I can name the really old one. I think he's, like, physical.
Tech. I think you're thinking about the Tech one.
He's really old. He's sitting in the chair.
Oh, okay. The original World Tournament one?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I used to really hope I got him from like my tournament single summons.
So there's them. There's the STR like banner one from the Kid Goku banner, and then there's the Tech one.
Yeah.
Right? So there's just not many of them out there.
Yeah.
I definitely think it was good to see.
Now it's good to see. I do obviously really like seeing it, especially Dragon Ball is super unrepresented. I mean, unrepresented to a kind of different degree, as there's not a lot of Dokkan Fest level
Dragon
Ball, OG Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah.
Free to play wise, they're going crazy. But
Oh yeah.
I think, and going forward, I don't know how. I mean, the JP player base seems to love when
They love
Vegeta and
it.
Dragon Ball
Yeah.
stuff drops. So
Well, I
people,
know when Kid Goku came out, they hit top grossing really easily.
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
I think it was a
So-
couple hours or something like that. I don't remember the time.
It must have been something like that.
I think it's
know
because
they did so well with that unit.
original Dragon Ball in Japan was like probably the biggest part of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Most
I think it's
likely,
still.
yeah.
I think it still is kind of like Super is absolutely loved in Japan, but I think still the biggest representation of Dragon Ball would be Kid Goku, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, there's not many other units from Dragon Ball that are better represented than Kid Goku.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, pretty
Because, I mean, there's just a bunch of Kid Gokus. You have like the Grade Ape ones, you have the Int one, who was the most recent one. And then you got like a couple other ones scattered around, some free to play ones, but I mean,
I
they've
wouldn't
been there for a
mind.
long time. I wouldn't mind. No,
I wouldn't
not at
mind
all.
like maybe a new LR Kid Goku because there's obviously the you might I don't know if you guys have it or not with the LR Aurelie and Kid Goku.
I didn't bother to do that. No.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people did, but for those who did, I think that was I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty cool unit. Especially with
cool.
the
I just didn't.
Especially with Aurelie, because obviously it wouldn't. I can't say it would make sense to have her as just a character because she'd have links like the Innocence and stuff.
Yeah.
But to have her incorporated with a Kid Goku card.
I mean, it's just more like representation. Again, it's just more.
Even thinking about that unit now, I'm also thinking about like if you remember how in Dragon Ball Super, Goku actually met up with Aurelie again.
Yeah.
Like when he was older, a unit like except for it's older Goku.
That'd be funny.
Kid Goku.
Well,
Like
that was the
like
whole
an
thing,
April,
it's like-
like an April Fool's.
I think that'd be really funny, and I think it would just be good for the representation, right?
Yeah.
Because you get these just more units, right? You just want to see more units, and I think something to consider, right, is really important when units come out. It's timing.
Yes.
Right,
Absolutely.
it's timing. Because, so we know, Truth really wants a Garlic Jr., right? So how would you feel if, they're doing pretty good with these units, right? And it's like, all right, we're going to release Garlic Jr. And it's like, huh.
Yeah, I
Is
see
that-
where you're coming from there.
Right? It's like, so let's just say, like, you have, like, the really hype units coming out. It's like, all right, what do we got? What do we got, right? We're doing really well. It's like, all right, like, Garlic Jr. Right? It's like, oh, okay. I mean, like, it's not necessarily, like, not hype, but if you want to say, like, Garlic Jr. is more hype than, I don't know, like, a unit that could be out, like, a new, like, really cool villain, or a new, like, just, like, cool card in general, right? I'm not saying the card wouldn't be cool. I'm just saying, it would be kind of like off-putting, I guess you could say.
I see where you're going.
I think it's a really like big thing, right? So, I mean, would you rather have, I don't know, like a new like Majin Vegeta or like a new Kid Buu, or
Well, I think Kid Buu might need to calm down a little bit on the Kid Boos because there are a load of Boos in general.
I personally don't really care for Kid Buu units.
I don't either.
I just know he's very like sought after as like a new card. I don't care, to be honest, about Kid Buu. I mean, sure, it'll be cool, but I mean, when people were like, "Dude, are you kidding me? Another Vegito and Buhan for the download celebration," I was hyped. I was honestly hoping it wouldn't be Kid Buu. I'm sorry, but that's just how I felt.
Yeah, I think I think honestly, and unfortunately, some people aren't gonna like the truth, but I do believe that going forward with Dokkan, as much as I do love my Vegetos and the fresh new stuff, I think going back and I think giving the stuff that doesn't have representation is very important. Like
It's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garlic Jr. doesn't even have a character in Dokkan, for example.
He's
And
not even affiliated with a character like in a super attack either, or an event.
Yeah.
I think 5 years in, almost at the 6-year anniversary, and we don't have any representation of him or like Dr. Willow, or even maybe some random
Oh,
cards
yeah.
from the Tapion movie, that movie
Sure,
and
sure.
stuff like that.
Nanogenics talked about that too, like having a Dr. Willow unit.
Yeah, and stuff like
See,
that.
my thing would be
Buildings.
I feel like it'd be kind of hard giving them links though, because obviously there's things like for Dr. Willow you could have like Brainiacs, but like what else would you have besides Brainiacs?
Yeah, I like.
You can't put the
I mean,
Innocents.
you could do
I
prepare for
think-
battle, maybe, stuff like that.
I think-
Garlic Jr. may be prepared for battle.
Yeah, maybe not, right? And like it's here's the other thing, right? Is sure you have these content creators that say Garlic Jr., right? Dr. Willow. But, it's like how would the majority of the player base feel about these characters coming out?
I personally wouldn't summon.
Yeah,
I would not summon.
Most people don't care, but I do think at the end of the day, if they don't do it, it's just a bigger problem than if they actually did it.
I think the
think
best
so.
if they're gonna
I
add a
think-
Dr. Willow or like just any kind of unit like that
I think
It
there's a time and place for it.
as a
It
time
should
and
not-
place, and it should not be
not-
a Dokkan. It should not be a summon unit. It should
It
be a
should
free to play
not-
unit.
I think it should be something like free to play because, like, imagine you look at like a calendar, right? And you get like this really great, fantastic lineup of units, right? And then it's like in this middle is this character that doesn't really fit, right? It's like, well, that could have been like Dokkan Fest, insert whatever character, you think, right? But it just could have been all these other things, and it was like, oh, what's this doing here? It's just kind of there, and I think there's better places for characters, and you can kind of separate them into, this character would be much better as a free-to-play unit than as like a Dokkan Fest, or like an LR, or like a summonable LR, right? I mean, it would just be, more sensible to make this character like a free-to-play unit, and it's not necessarily to downplay them or give them like less impactful representation. It's just about doing what makes more sense, in my opinion.
Yeah. For sure. I was gonna say, I think maybe like the movie stuff. Yeah, you could probably get away with just doing some free to play. I mean, I think at some point you're gonna have to do some kind of normal like.
Oh, of course,
kind of
yeah.
banner
And
unit
I think Android 13 is perfect for that.
Yeah, he.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
But then,
I think
but then it's
he
like,
was.
there could be a lot of people that want.
Dokkan won't survive as long as they wanted to if they don't release a unit like that as a Dokkan Fest
Well, yeah,
unit.
see, that's the thing.
Right.
You're gonna have to start having Dokkan Fest, Garlic Jr. or go Dokkan Fest. Even though, they're not gonna get top grossing and they're really not gonna probably do super well on it. You're just gonna eventually have to do,
And it's not to say that it shouldn't happen. It's just saying there is like a time and place for these sort of things.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
And
I do
it's
think,
like
however,
there's units that will do better in that format than others. Like for example, the Android 13 like movie like group of characters.
Yeah.
It's like Android 13 is a good Dokkan Fest. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that, right?
Yeah.
And that's not to like say, oh well, this character in specific wouldn't be a good Dokkan Fest. It just works very well.
Yeah.
I think 13
think
was slept on.
It's very easy to like picture that character as like a Dokkan Fest. I think is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to, because we're still talking about like just going on 13. Do
Sure.
you think his Dokkan because personally I'm one of those people who I kind of vote for the underdog unit,
Mhm.
but I thought 13 was going to be worse than what he is. But I feel like he really was slept on.
I think he kind of
his
got
passive-
overshadowed.
His passive is very good, in my opinion.
Well, here's the whole thing, right? Is I've seen a lot of people call him like worse Cooler because he does like kind of the same thing Cooler does, except against like Goku, where he gets like the crit, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
So-
the problem with 13, especially on JP, is it came out at a very well. I mean, I guess global too, kind of at the same time. But more so, JB came at a very awkward time to where you come out after Cooler, who is
Yeah.
visually the most appealing unit in the game, and also like was
He's
the best unit at the
his
time.
performance is spectacular.
So you come out after Cooler, and then after him, it's like you're basically right around the corner from the 5th year anniversary.
Right.
So it's like
there's
you
always
kind
a
of
big
fall
crunch.
in
There's a
this
huge issue.
awkward
Yeah.
time to where it's like he comes after Cooler, and maybe people don't like him as much as Cooler, and then 5th year anniversary, we completely forget about 13, and then that's kind of it. I feel like the timing
Right.
of 13, and I mean, who knows? It could be a maybe they did that on purpose. I don't know. Obviously,
I think
Yeah.
maybe it was on purpose because I mean, imagine if they said, okay, we're gonna release like a new Frieza, right? And then they put out this Frieza, and he's good, but then 5th anniversary comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's timing is how units need to be
Exactly.
released.
It goes back to timing. It just goes back to there's a time and place for certain units because certain units will always have more impact than others.
Yeah. At the end of the day, unfortunately for some of our poor little characters out there like Dr. Willow, but
Poor Dr. Willow.
But yeah, I think movies they could definitely do like the free to play stuff, and I don't think it needs to be pushed into the Dokkan unit territory right now, but I do think Dokkan OG Dragon Ball, no matter what units from I think OG Dragon Ball needs Dokkan Fest units.
Oh
Yes.
yes, absolutely.
OG Dragon Ball is suffering the category.
I don't think there's many people disagreeing with that.
Yeah,
to be honest,
world tournaments like the 22nd World Tournament with Tien, and they could do Tien and Kid Goku Dokkan Fest.
Yeah, I mean
a dual Dokkan Fest actually.
I think there should be. I think there should be more Roshi.
And Master
More
Roshi.
Roshi, right?
Wait. What about
Moonbust?
Picture this: LR full power Roshi.
That would be. People would love it.
I don't see a reason.
I think it would do the voice actor good though. Like, because didn't the the Japanese voice actor for Roshi actually pass away earlier this year?
Did he?
I think it was.
I think so.
Let me check on that.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not sure.
They could also do a Roshi from the obviously from Super, but I'd rather see one. I think from the OG Dragon Ball, especially like 22nd or 21st World Tournament, whatever you. They could do a lot of cool things. They could do a lot of cool things.
There's a lot of things to do. I definitely think like an LR Roshi would be awesome.
Yes. The voice actor died at 83.
Yeah.
I feel like it would do him justice because Roshi's one of the most fan favorite characters.
People would summon for Roshi. People would hyped for
I would 100% summon for him.
I would be hyped for a good
I wouldn't even care if he's good, just to do him justice.
He would probably be like a full power lead.
I'm thinking like Dragon Ball Saga, or they add like a new category called like Turtle School.
That would be
good,
but it would be too small, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would be mostly kid. It would be mostly Kid Goku's.
You just need more units for that category, right? And it's like there's no problem with implementing more categories. It's just when you have like either units that don't work well together, or there's just not enough units, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like adding categories is good, but you want them to be good, solid categories. You don't just want them to like spam out like saviors and special pose, right? It's like these categories, it's just not as good as they could be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it was Truth. I'm pretty sure it was Truth, but I could be wrong about this. That was saying the idea for a Master Roshi, Kid Goku, and Kid Krillin, maybe a free-to-play card, or even like a part 2, like LR banner,
that'd be cool.
Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like
combo LR.
Combo LR. Like there's a lot on the plate, which Dokkan kind of. Dokkan has a lot of stuff to tap into to last them for a really long time, depending on.
I think they need to put in like more better Krillins. Because there's the Prime Battle one, but I think there should just be more Krillin.
Yeah, I could see a Dokkan Fest Krillin like the Universe Rival Saga.
Not, right? Because you have like the AGL one, which just released, which is very good. But like, if you think about how many Krillins there are for how long he's been in the series, I
mean,
think
yeah, he is
A
one of the
Z
iconic
Warrior-
characters.
a Z Warrior category. I
Revamp?
think that would be no. I mean, Z Warrior doesn't have a category at all.
Well,
in the game.
I mean, it doesn't have a category, but its links are there,
It
which
is a
I think
link.
just the link skills in general, they're like most of the Z units, or at least that are on with that link skill, because that would be the entire category.
Mhm.
There's just not a lot of them, and they
No,
wouldn't
I
be able. They couldn't compete in the events that are
Well, that's where you go with pushing out units that aren't in Dokkan right now instead of doing
Right.
the standard. Then we can get like those couple Z Warrior Dokkan Fest or free to play Z Warrior. They could do Z Warriors like they did low class Warriors and the Ginyu Force and just do a whole set.
True.
Of
I think. I mean,
free to play units. That'd be dope.
yeah.
I would go for them.
I would. I mean,
No.
and I think it would be really cool, right? It's like because I know they're gonna start, touching up on some of like the movies soon, and even some of the newer movies. So like Resurrection F, right? It's like we could, I think it'd be really cool to see like all of the Z fighters that fought against like the Frieza soldiers,
Like a Gohan, because like maybe like a Gohan unit.
Yeah, maybe.
Because in the movie, when Gohan was fighting Frieza, he was like, although the transformation wouldn't make sense because he did Super Saiyan to like contact Goku or have Goku sense his energy.
Yeah, he
like
one that
would transform into Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be, maybe there's like a Goku that gets shot and Vegeta comes in and kind of jumps in and saves him like he does before, or like there's like because after Goku gets zapped. Frieza blows up the planet against Vegeta after getting destroyed, and then Whis rewinds, and then Goku kills him.
I honestly feel like we're going back to the free to play side of things here. I think that doing the like the Ginyu Force and like the low class warriors releasing sets of free to play units with easy A's. And maybe an LR also, like they did the LR Bardock and they did the LR Ginyu, stuff like that, like a full set of free-to-play Easy units with free-to-play LR. They could do that for so many characters.
Yeah, I think so too.
Don't need a banner unit, or maybe they don't need a whole Dokkan.
Like Team Bardock. Like Team Bardock was great.
You can do, the Frieza Force. You could do
Warriors.
You could do. I mean, you can just go on and on with like tons of these like full free to play teams that they release at once.
Absolutely,
they should utilize that. I think a lot more because I don't think anyone. I think it's just really good. You're gonna. I think a little LR and a whole team with an easy A. I think it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I think a little thing you could kind of tack on to just like there being more units. It's like. What happened to, like, they did this on, like, AGL Metal Cooler, is they had the Vegeta and the Piccolo, so it's like, you had more units on that banner from the movie that were good, they're solid units, right? I mean, they're not free to play, sure, but it's just kind of like, they're just tacking on more units, which will only benefit, whoever gets them.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. So... I think we'll end it off here with what do y'all think about, and I don't know if y'all know too much about the new units that just dropped, but PyCon and transforming Janemba in
I mean
a little bit of a hot topic right now in the community.
Yeah, I think they're cool.
You like them? Yeah, do you?
I don't really have a big issue with them.
Okay.
I think it's cool. I don't really have a problem. I don't really have any like bad blood with Janemba or PyCon. Yeah. I think it's cool that like a unit like PyCon is getting more.
Yeah, back to the representation part.
Yeah, representation, right? And then I mean, it's been a little bit since the last Janemba, so it's good to see, and it's definitely good because they're doing these like. Better things, right? They release a fat Janemba, so you can probably run it or, use it with other things. Instead of being, just like, oh, here's another Janemba that will probably guard and probably dodge. right?
Basically,
It just
sold
does more.
the PyCon with the pretext of there being a Gogeta.
Yes, that is true as well. It's the unit super attack,
which they
right?
probably will utilize more often because then they can release. So they could do a character no one cares about, but then the unit super attack, there's the character that everybody cares about. And
True.
It's like,
True.
Because
I agree.
In my opinion, with PyCon and Gogeta, I like them as a unit. I never really liked PyCon. Like, he's still cool. I still think he's cool. His moves are cool, but like, I feel like the unit is very underwhelming. I feel like they're just kind of gonna fall off the grid. They're gonna fall off the grid in about 3 weeks.
So it's like you're always going to lose a unit like PyCon.
That new Gohan, that tech Gohan, just completely overshadows everything right now.
So going over the units now, Truth. If you guys watch Truth,
of course,
he just did a recent video going over Janemba and PyCon, and they aren't looking super good. I think it's kind of a situation with, well, first of all, I think the timing is terrible. Although, I mean,
I agree.
They do a dual Dokkan Fest for New Year's every year, so it's not.
I think they could have done better.
Like, situation, kind of like it. I feel like it's a good time slot, but it's kind of bad. It's bad because the 6-year anniversary is literally like 3 weeks away or something like that. So
I think what they should do is plant like not necessarily a huge celebration like anniversary or download celebration, but maybe like a middle intensity celebration in between Christmas and New Year's to cover both of them.
I agree with that.
Yeah, the reason it's so big the reason we get that dual Dokkan Fest though is because obviously with New Year's being so big in Japan, that it's just inevitable for the New Year's celebration to be kind of a dual Dokkan Fest, a little bit of like a larger kind of celebration.
Right.
They could do what you said and kind of do like an in-between thing, which I wouldn't think is bad, because then I don't know, maybe just timing wise, maybe they have a little bit more longevity before next year comes out, and then it's like,
Nano made this point in his news, or at least I believe it was Nano, but it wasn't this exact point, but it's kind of going off of it. He talked about having more discount banners, like maybe 30, 35, 40, or even just 50, 50, 50, but you get a free multi, or 40, 40, 40.
It's the added bonus.
I feel like if you're gonna release a unit at a bad time, release it as a discount, because at least it gives people an incentive to do a multi.
I agree. I can definitely agree with that.
With SSJ3, the most recent SSJ3 Goku, or the Super Saiyan Goku that transforms, and the Majin Vegeta that transforms, the only reason I did a multi on each was because it was discounted.
Yeah.
But I only did one, and luckily I got both of them.
Well, because if you see like, I can do, I can summon for like 30 stones, or I can summon for 35 or 40 stones. It's like, well, I might as well, because
discount veteran or discount banners for veterans, like people have been playing for 5 years. It's like a blessing.
Just a 10 stone discount on
that's huge.
Summon will make
huge.
A lot more people summon, even though it's only 10 stones, and you really wouldn't think otherwise.
Sometimes, let's just say you're at.
Oh yeah, this is great.
Let's say you're at like 40 stones sometimes, right? And it's like, for people that have just done all the content there is to get stones, I mean, it's like, what are you supposed to do to get 10 extra stones to summon?
Yeah. I just think it's like that, seeing that nice little, oh wow, look at that fancy little.
Yeah, well, it's incentive.
Kind of nice.
It's incentive.
Pulling up the strings a little bit there with the 40 stone, multi summon. Like, geez.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
But
overall, with PyCon and Janemba, I don't really have anything against them, but I feel like they could have done better. When I heard like, it's PyCon and Janemba, it's like, okay, sure, that sounds really cool. It's like, they're not bad, they're pretty good, but they're not like game changing.
Honestly, gonna go on a little bit of a stretch here and call them somewhat mid, which a lot of people could get angry about.
No, I agree. I agree.
I could agree.
Truth made this point in his video that we just had Golden Frieza, we just had Gogeta. Why does Pycon and Janemba especially, who a lot of people want that to be like the best unit in the game? Why
I
did
think
they
I think we
fall?
needed
This
it.
feels like something. These two units feel like something that came out last year, maybe.
I can definitely agree with that, or like maybe even early this year.
Like if they came out around like Cooler's time, or even like you said, the beginning of the year, like
Oh,
that, I feel like
absolutely,
I would have been okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
absolutely, yeah.
Like
Well,
now it's just
because
like
you know,
they don't really fit into. I mean, it's just not like, oh my god, I need to sell. Like these units are insane. Like nah.
yeah, they're not top tier, right? And it's like I think it's definitely hurtful because I mean it's Janemba, it's just another villain they can release. It's another like solid villain people will know.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he goes along with Gogeta, right? But like, you see Janemba, like the unit Janemba, and it's like it's kind of lackluster, right? So then, when you get a unit that isn't so great, and you say, well, this could have been so much better, right? It's like that's
Yeah.
kind of disappointing, to be honest.
I
Pretty
think
off-putting,
at
if
some
anything.
point Janemba will get an LR, which I'm hoping they do a
100%.
fantastic job with because
Yeah.
I definitely think they will at some point, and I really hope they do a good job because, I mean, like the Janembas are good, but not insane,
I mean
right?
the
It's like
STR Janemba's actually getting his EZA.
he's going to be very good, but like if you think about the time before he was getting his EZA,
Yeah,
right? It's like who used him?
not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
It's like who could really sit down and say, all right, Extreme STR team or like Movie Bosses team or like whatever it is, right? It's like, all right, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna make this team, it's gonna be really good, I'm gonna do great in this event, right? It's like, is STR Janemba a must-have?
Especially now when Janemba's a thing.
Exactly.
And in
In
Janemba,
Janemba
yeah,
is
nicely
just
replacing
so much better than him. But like before the EZA, like
Yeah.
before STR EZA. Yeah.
I think I know we said that was going to be the last topic, but I have just one last question.
Sure.
Do you think 2021 will be a good year for Dokkan? Because what I'm hoping for are some big things once COVID ends.
I think
probably back to their usual studio. So I'm hoping for some big things.
I think if they like really sit down and make the best possible decisions they can, this will be the best year it's ever had. Only if they really try to do what is best for the game.
For sure, yeah. I think if we can, get out of our COVID,
I think that's
stuck in our
part of the
COVID
reason.
right now, that's kind of affected everybody, not just Dokkan. And,
I think it's kind of a big reason why things haven't really been happening, or this year has kind of been
a little on
not
the
so
slower
good.
side, yeah.
It's slower. I think it's definitely because of COVID. But I mean, I think if they really get things settled, and I think if they sit down and say, okay, we're gonna do these things, and this will like improve the game in all these ways. It's like we'll be doing better units, we'll be doing more content, we'll be doing more diverse things. It's like it will hurt. It won't hurt. It'll only do good things that will not hurt the game, right? And like I said before, I think it could be the best year, but only if they really try.
Yeah, I think they got to put forth, that a little bit of effort outside of like Dokkan fests and stuff like that, which is
Yes,
like,
exactly.
pretty
Exactly.
good for that. I think we need more effort in content for celebrations and stuff like that. I do think
They just need to like step it up a little bit, and I think if they step it up,
getting out of the COVID and stuff like this, and also maybe if they do listen to the community a little bit more here and there,
I think the
Dokkan
surveys
will go far with that.
would do a lot of good.
They could release more surveys. I think they should release more surveys.
I think they could do maybe not like a ton more, but maybe a little more surveys maybe every 3 Dokkan fests or something like that. Or
I would love to see
every 3 months or something.
Like Nano and just kind of like Destiny with Datto. Bring the influences in, like Nano, Rhyme, and Truth. Just sit down with them.
It's basically
Yeah.
what Legends does. They'll sit down and talk.
I think Legends does well with those guys, and I just think because like we were talking about this earlier. Is like I think sometimes Truth will have really good ideas, and this isn't like Truth is just kind of my example here. Truth will have really good ideas, and then he'll have ideas that aren't really good for everybody.
Yeah, it's his benefit.
It's his benefit, and it's much better for, like, I'm gonna say, like, his group of players, I guess you could say. And there's just more that could be put out that would be better for everyone instead of maybe what he's suggesting.
You get like the whole spectrum. You get Truth, Nano. There's that one YouTuber who does a straight free to play account.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Is that D-Free? Or I might be wrong about that.
Not D-Free.
No, it's not D-Free.
I feel like I'm throwing a lot of shade here, not remembering his name.
Yeah, no, it's not disrespect.
We know who we're talking about, though. Yeah, y'all.
Yeah.
And you guys watching, I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. But yeah, I think if they can get a couple people, they don't even need to go there physically. Just sit down, stream. Maybe the community manager, somebody.
What if they were just kind of like, what do you guys think would be better, right? And I think if they brought in creators and they did a couple more surveys and maybe compared what they thought with like the surveys and what the creators said, I think that would be a really good way to say, okay, this is the direction people want to see the game go, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because you say, okay, it's like, the creators have said there's not enough easy A's. The surveys from the players have said there's not enough easy A's. So, let's just release more easy A's, right? It's like, okay, the creators have said, let's implement like this new system. And, the surveys have said, don't implement that new system. So it's like, maybe we won't, maybe we'll see about it. We'll test the waters a little bit. And it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
I think that'd be a good way to set that up.
That would be
that way.
I hope
that way you don't have the creators just kind of, not necessarily dictating, but steering the ship in a way that would, not benefit the player base as a whole.
Yeah.
The more common player, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think, I think if Dokkan wants to keep going, and I think Dokkan will keep going for a long time, but I think if they want,
absolutely,
a steady, a paved road going ahead.
Yes, they need to have that good relationship,
like community interaction and listening to maybe some of the things here and there that people like to shoot out. Maybe even get, we'll see him on Dokkan now. One guy who speaks English, maybe get that guy and have him, interact. Yep. Or just something small. It doesn't even need to be anything crazy. Like 10 minutes.
It's just more.
Nice little
just more.
Or something like that. Just to
just
know
more.
That the Dokkan community wants
that they're listening.
Extend that reaching hand. And, hey, let's hear some feedback.
Let's work together, right? And
based on that feedback.
Yeah, just make the game better for everyone, and just kind of, improving the whole situation for, the people that spend a lot of money and people that don't really bother to. So I think that'd be really good for just everybody,
we all love Dokkan Battle at the end of the day, so I'd like to see the ship, keep going for a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. 100%.
So,
yeah.
A lot of topics we didn't cover today, but that's okay because this is our first podcast, so I'm hoping you guys enjoyed that. I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let us know what you thought.
Good idea.
We are an hour in, so a little bit of a. I mean, our podcasts for you guys watching will probably be around this time. I would say probably an hour. I feel like
maybe more depending on what we're talking about, because I feel like we kind of
we did for a while. For sure.
Yeah. It'll vary.
It's a nice introductory little Dokkan Battle stuff, and we're gonna do more Dokkan Battle streams. So if you did enjoy our Dokkan Battle podcast, don't worry, there's gonna be more because there is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, let us know what you want to see maybe in the next one, right? It's like give us questions, or what do you think about this, or how do you feel about this, or what do you want to see? Just kind of, whatever you think would be best for us to answer or maybe talk about or discuss, just let us know. We'll go over it, because there will be more of us talking about Dokkan, because we didn't talk about everything there's to talk about. So
Exactly,
we will
yeah, for
we
sure.
will definitely talk about it more. I think it's just let us know.
Yeah,
When
I would
you,
encourage you guys to go ahead and leave your questions in the comment section, and next time we do a Dokkan Battle stream, we can kind of dedicate a portion of that video to talking about your guys' questions,
Great idea.
and maybe we can address them directly, kind of like a Q&A in a sense.
Yeah.
Just kind of thing like that. I think it'd be
Definitely.
a pretty nice little community interaction. Everybody.
If you leave a little bit of a question or a statement or a little bit of topic, we will go over it. We're not going to just overlook it. We're not going to say, oh well, time to ignore that. No, we will go over it. We will see it. Trust us, we will see it.
We will look at as many as we can. We'll say that way, right?
Yeah.
Just in case we don't get to all of them, depending on how many there are. Obviously, let's not jump the gun, but
Yeah. If you've got a question, leave it.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So this was Positively Raw podcast, because we are positively raw in our podcast here today. So, if you guys like the podcast, please, like we just rambled on for a couple minutes, leave a comment down in the comment section below. Tell us your questions you'd like to see next time.
Tell us what you thought.
And tell us what you thought of the stream. Or tell us what you thought of the video, I should say.
Yeah. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like.
How do you guys like the...
maybe even what you want to see us talk about. Maybe even if it's not something about Dokkan. Maybe if it's just something you want to see, right? We're going to be doing some anime stuff. We're going to be doing more game stuff. We're going to be doing, a lot of different things. So whatever you want to see, let us know, and we will look at it. For
sure, yeah. And that reminds me, our next video, we don't necessarily have a schedule for these yet, but, in the next couple days, look out for we will be going over the winter 2020-2021 anime season. Well, 2021, not really.
Kind of throwing around ideas for videos here and there.
Yeah, we'll go over that.
It will come up. It will come up. Yeah.
That'll most likely be, actually, I would say for certain that's probably the next thing we're going to be.
Probably.
So look out for
that.
Yeah.
But I'm your host, Cole. I have Jacob and Cross here with me today on a Dokkan Battle, first Dokkan Battle, Positively Raw podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching.
Take care.